incredibly climax play up the
The first impressions are very wet.
Where the wet track is
loud, lots of people. Lots of egos.
Looking through the corner initially, very much a driver's
not very good vintage.
Move your eyes forward as much as possible to see what's coming up next.
Kind of image of an image. Amazing cars. Noisy and smelly and polluting. Hard to find.
Definitely very but just the cost and the more.
I'd rather be out driving the car than watching one. Lucky them.
But he's having a big lift there. It may be an over the line it goes.
Okay, we're sitting on the track, so going round Goodwood. Watching the races in the rain. And a cigar. I've really enjoyed the day now, so it's been great. So over and out from Jazz Swing Dance at Goodwood 2024. Bye. So after returning from Goodwood 300 miles back to Lancashire, I'll just do a little bit of a review, whether it's a good wood or a bad wood, and what I think of it. I'm Anthony from Jazz Swing Dance. I've been teaching swing dance and jive and Charleston for 15 years, and my DVDs have sold internationally back 15 years ago, 14 years ago I made them and sold them. So I've taught at festivals all over the UK and run dance classes and events. And I've always stayed away from Goodwood, and it's been quite a way to go, but also it was something about the vibe of it that I was unsure of. So here are some of my thoughts on the way back on the in the car. I had after cleaning the wheel arches since I got back, because it was very rainy and muddy on Friday I went, and so I was on the Friday at Goodwood 2024, and basically it's very complex, but it felt like a white privilege festival. It felt like it would be great to be part of if you were one of the car owners. The winners, the racers, there was a camaraderie between them and the teams of the mechanics. And so in a way it kind of didn't matter who won, who lost, it was all about taking part. But as a spectator I didn't feel like I took part so much. And even though I've had classic cars like a 1964 Fairthorpe in the past that would have been eligible to race if it had a Coventry Climax engine, it didn't, it had a Ford, I still did not feel part of it. It was very much a kind of retailtainment event where it was about the things and the experience of watching the racing. But it wasn't like a vintage event. The vintage that I saw there was more country gent type vintage, and if anyone was wearing anything. So the emphasis was more on it felt kind of like an Etonian aristocratic event where money was the main factor. And money is needed to put things like this on, and that's recognised. But with the dancing that was happening, that was kind of like an add-on, and that's fine. But it was like swing dance, and a lot of the swing dance, and I'm aware of this acutely myself, it's a black dance, it's black music that white people have appropriated. They've turned it in a way from being a dance of freedom of oppressed people into a dance of oppression of free people. And very much it has an air of that the dances are all important, which I kind of work against in my classes and events to make it egalitarian. And I felt that the dancing there, it kind of jarred with the real ethos of the Goodwood, which was about the classic motor vehicles and watching those and enjoying those as spectacle, almost like watching horse racing. So the dancing wasn't period to the cars either. It was more swing dancing and felt kind of a little bit out of place, as a lot of the cars were English and British, and so something more like ballroom dancing or other kind of British dancing would maybe have fit. But there was a real lack of diversity at the event. That was the sad thing, and it felt strategically that it didn't have a vision for the 21st century. It felt very much 20th century or kind of colonialist British mentality, and sided with the aristocratic element to it. It was a little bit concerning that I saw more coloured people on the gates than actually attending the event, let alone racing in the actual races and heats. The same applied for women, not so many women drivers either. So there's a real missed opportunity there, and a missed opportunity of conversion of classic vehicles into electric vehicles and showcasing that and trailblazing that. But the aristocratic element, I'm a host of a Distinguished Gentleman's Ride and Distinguished Gentleman's Drive, which raises money for prostate cancer, mental health and suicide charities. And while that has an aristocratic flavour, it is egalitarian, it belongs to everyone. It is proletarian dandyism, making being a gentleman accessible to all people, regardless of income levels. So, there was a missed opportunity with that. Also, the era was 1940, post-war to 1966, and there were a lot of military vehicles present that kind of from the Second World War, which kind of reinforced the aristocratic connection to the war and the working class, as well as people of colour. It felt like social mobility of the 1960s had fallen off the cliff, that there wasn't the same ethos of social mobility at Goodwood. So there are lots of other aspects to it as well, but I had so many thoughts about it. But the main one was really, it needs to update itself for the 21st century. It's a fantastic event, the vehicles are amazing, but the kind of tiering of the access to different spots reinforced the exclusivity of the event, And the kind of real dancing and partying was when you had a glass of champagne, and it was kind of like more the aristocratic sort of getting drunk and wild abandon, and which was fun in the bit that I sampled of it, but you know, my main thing is that making it more accessible, more affordable, having perhaps quotas, encouraging people of colour to become drivers, to become people part of the pit crew in the paddock, people of colour teaching the dance if it's going to be swing dance, or the musicians as well. So just being aware that the people at Goodwood are opinion formers and leaders of industry, and you know, a lot of them are multimillionaires. So the visibility of different groups will increase the consideration of those groups in the decision making that those people make. So it's really important that Goodwood, I think, ups its ante for the 21st century. So that's my review. And Goodwood, Badwood, could do better wood, and I think that's my conclusion. And I will go again, but I'm not sure when. Thank you. I'm Anthony, Jazz Swing Dance, and thank you for paying attention, listening and watching. See you on the dance floor.